young athletes often face pressure to improve their athletic performance in order to keep up with the competition and be the best in their respective sport. They want to get bigger, stronger, and faster, but they want to do this quickly. Unfortunately, because of this, athletes tend to turn to steroids in order to get fast results.
What are anabolic steroids? Anabolic steroids is the familiar name for synthetic substances related to the male sex hormones. They promote the growth of skeletal muscle and the development of male sexual characteristics in both males and females.
It is true that performance-enhancing substances can lead to bigger muscles and better performance. However, these effects are not shared among all users. There are detrimental effects that many people experience.
Of course, the main side effects everyone knows about are the acne, the breast development for men, facial hair development for women, also baldness in women. Although steroids do have a beneficial side effect, usually it's not going to be your anabolic steroid as much as your corticosteroid. They're going to be more for immune system, as well as for the immune system, people with HIV that their muscle depletion and they need help with their muscle depleting. I guess it'd be more of the negative aspect for the steroids. Personally, I've known a couple people that have done it, and just the reward isn't as positive as the negative part of it, because the side effects can be long-lasting. They could last for over years if the consumption of the steroids being used for that long.
Those who excessively take performance-enhancing drugs are at risk of facing fatal medical effects. For males, this includes shrunken testicles due to decreased testosterone production, baldness, decreased sperm count, and breast development. For females, it's deepening of voice, increased facial hair and body hair, as well as body fat loss. Acne and cysts can develop on the skin, and areas where the drugs were injected can also become fatally infected. There are also major risks of heart attack and liver cancer.
The usage of anabolic steroids in anything pertaining to non-medical purposes is illegal and banned in all major sports organizations. With the usage of anabolic steroids comes a penalty of side effects, as the aftermath could be irreversible and undetected until too late.
Federal and most state laws dictate that the sales of anabolic steroids, possession of steroids, or possession of steroids with intent to sell are all classified as felonies. Any individual who is convicted of the sale of steroids or possession of steroids unlawfully with intent to sell may be penalized up to 5 years in prison under federal law. The same individual may face more than 5 years of punishment depending on their state's law. Almost every state has sanctioned various laws placing anabolic steroids in the controlled substance category. Recent statistics estimate as many as 6 million Americans have used or currently do use steroids.
Even if potential damage to the body isn't enough to dissuade a user, each person should consider the effects their actions have on their friends and family. Too often the users don't think about their friends and family until it is too late.
He was 18 and he was here at Clemens. That was his senior year. He was one of the football players here, and he wasn't as big as the rest of his friends. So he was trying to buff up, trying to thin out. He was taking an over-the-counter supplement which had ephedra in it. It raised his blood pressure up too much. So he had a stroke. That day he came home and he was talking to me, and I was able to tell that something was wrong. So I called 911 and she said he had a petit mal seizure, and she wanted me to take him to the hospital and get him checked out. Took him over to Methodist up here, and they checked it, and it showed that he had a drug in his system. It wasn't just a regular drug. It was this ephedra that raised his pressure up so much that he went into a grand mal seizure. They then took him in, had a CAT scan done, and they found out that his brain was bleeding. So he had to, at that point, go on anti-seizure medicine, and when it calmed down enough, the doctor went in and did 9 hours of brain surgery on him. They had to open his skull, wake him up, and let him start talking. So they had a camera next to his bed, and he had to look at pictures, and he'd be able to say things. And if they did not do it, that was called brain mapping. If they did not do that, they would have cut his speech path off. Now, he is on anti-seizure medicine the rest of his life. When they tried to take him off of it, he had a seizure while driving. So at this point, he is 30 years old. And I worry about him every single minute of the day. Thinking about what you can do in 1 second. He made a wrong decision, and he took something that was over the counter that he thought was over the counter. It's safe. But you don't know what ephedra could do. You don't know what a lot of this stuff can do. So that's why you don't take it.
Performance-enhancing substances have caused many medical and psychological problems for a variety of people. These substances have had many men and women alike having negative impacts on their lives. And throughout, there are people out there that have lost their lives through these substances. There are people out there that love you. Don't die for the people that don't.
Rather than taking performance-enhancing drugs and facing possibly fatal medical effects, one should develop his or her athletic abilities through proper physical training and good eating. There are millions of successful athletes who have achieved greatness without cheating themselves by taking steroids.